let us try to engage in a few minutes of contemplation, mananam on Advaita Vedanta's teachings, and trying to bring that in our own experience. So first we can try to become aware of our present experience, the experience of being a body, the experience of perceiving through all our senses, the sound, sight, smell, taste, touch. And this is every person's lived in experience day to day. But beyond this kind of experience, the first aspect, the first things that comes into our cognition on a daily basis is this essential aspect of awareness itself, or what we call as this cognition of I am. So what happens for most of us is the moment we pursue this pure awareness, we get locked into a sense of personhood, a sense of individual identity, a sense of me as a subject who is listening or who is perceiving the world around me. So even my own sensations of body, my own thoughts are subjectively known to me. But this essential aspect of my existence, this deeper presence of my own awareness, my own being, it is not dependent on perceiving these things. It is not dependent on me having certain thoughts, sensations, feelings. We fear that if I don't think, I don't hear, I don't feel, or I don't sense something, then I'm lost like in sleep. So the mind tends to turn ourselves outward to objects, to perceptions, to things brought to me by thoughts, images, visual images, verbal language in my own mind. So here is where the meditation instructions usually tell us that try to find this place of inner silence where there are no thoughts, there are no perceptions. So we can first try to see this aspect of stillness, silence. This stillness which exists even with all that moments, the silence that exists despite all the sounds we hear, is our first portal to what we call as Satchit Ananda, existence, consciousness, and pure joy. So every time any other thoughts, any other images comes to us, we can try to see that underneath that or within that is this non-modulated, unchanging awareness. And this is what we call as asangatvam. Asangatvam is a word that comes quite often, which means that I am detached. The true sense of me is always detached from whatever experience that I'm going through. So even when I'm having a deep sense of fear, anxiety, or even when I'm obsessed with some attraction towards something or addicted towards something, my consciousness as such is unattached. So this is what one of the chants says, Asango Hum, Asango Hum, Asango Hum Punah Punah. So we can try to bring our awareness to whatever experience we are having. Maybe some sensation of where my feet touches the ground or where my body touches the seat, the chair. So what the teachings of non-duality, Advaita tells us is, these are false informations we are gathering, or these are not the complete information. So even when my body is going through some difficulties, or I'm mentally troubled, the immediate information that we gather is what comes from our senses and the mind. But we are missing something. What are we missing? So we have to, the only way to see and test this is to first try to find that state of stillness which exists with activity. That inner sense of undisturbed state that exists even when we are active or we are feeling or thinking or sensing something. That inner space which allows everything to come and go in it. So even before all this nama rupa, the names and forms, the objects that appear if not in the world, but in our own thoughts and feelings. The visual images we have that come to us in the mind, the sensations we perceive, or the words that we engage in mentally. Behind all that, or within all that, rather than behind, it's not something that's hidden. Just as the basis of all that is the sense of pure presence, or what we can say as Sat, existence, Chit, pure consciousness. And this consciousness doesn't have any boundaries. Bhumananda Swarupoham, infinite, unlimited aspect is of nature of this consciousness is Swarupa, my own nature, my own true nature. So these pointers by Vedanta helps us to at least know that even if I don't perceive directly in my experience, this state or this being is essentially there. So here we don't need to block out thoughts, block out our experiences, but we try to move from the sense of limited information or wrong information to that pure right information, or rather that essential information, which is gained through these teachings and helps us to try to look in our own experience, in our own vision and understanding, through our own vision and understanding, the sense of pure being, presence of my own being. When we learn to practice it this way through focused mananam contemplation, then even in the midst of our daily life, even when we are having some negative experience, physical or mental, we can just try to realize that, or rather this regular contemplation will remind us that that information that I'm getting from the world by my contact with the world is not the full information. It is not the full truth. And in fact, it is an information that is imposed on us. We are missing that real information of who I am. Because I lack this information of who I am, I take every experience that I get from through my senses and the mind to be real. Although at a worldly transaction level, this information may have value, but the real truth of it is that that information is a superimposition, meaning it is imposed on my mind falsely. The real truth is what we learn from these spirit teachings, which says, I am Nitya Shuddha Vimuktoham. I am Nitya, eternal, Shuddha, pure, Vimukta, ever liberated. I don't need to do something to become free. Because my true being is Asango Hum, Asango Hum. I am detached. I am not caught up. My true nature is ever free. So let's just take a last 2 minutes and see if we can take this truth within to our own understanding. Asangoham, Asangoham, Asangoham Panah Panaha. Satchidananda Rupoham, Ahameva Ahamabhyay. So my true nature is that of Sat Chit Ananda, pure existence, consciousness, and unlimited infinite joy. So with this we can end this contemplation, but we can continue with this stream of thoughts for our daily life. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.